Hi everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So some of you who don't follow me on Instagram or over on TikTok may or may not know that we currently have bottle babies. This takes forever. So I figure I can do the introduction while feeding Lyle. Why is his name Lyle? Because it's a play on words. He's a boy, he's a lilac. Boys are named Kyle, so his name is Lyle. Please help me, I need more sleep. So I figured today we could go over a monthly update on the garden and then also cover the Every Bit Counts challenge because that just finished up and I figure it's a good thing to cover. Unfortunately, because of where we lived, we were not in harvesting season for the Every Bit Counts challenge, so I didn't really have everything from the garden ready for that, but I did get some stuff done, mostly with eggs. We got a lot of preservation done with our eggs, but other than that, I am finally getting fruit in the garden, and I'll show you that here in a minute. For those of you who don't watch me on Instagram or TikTok, which you should definitely go follow me over there because sometimes I'm entertaining, you wouldn't know that we got another dog. This is Thor. He is a Swedish wolfhound. Hi, Thor. And Danny got him as a present for me. They are distantly related to the Corgi. He's only going to get about 20 pounds, but they are... what is it? Oh yeah, Viking herding dogs. So they're used quite similarly to Australian cattle dogs. So he's a very sweet little boy and he is super cuddly, and I think Kiwi, stop chewing on the wire. Sorry. But great. Speaking of puppies, Kiwi is currently chewing on the wire that I am using to balance my phone on to use as a tripod. I have a special husky. I do have some interesting things happening in the garden now, and we're finally getting some stuff there. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what my garden's been up to and give you a bit of an update because we got some pretty cool stuff going on. So let's get into that. First off, I want to say, for those of you who watched Day in the Life of My Puppy, there is Kiwi being completely and utterly annoying and chewing on the wire for my garden fence. Gotta love huskies. She thinks she has to be in here, so she's just being ornery. So because we live in the climate that we live in and up on top of the mountain, we are now just getting into the point where some of our plants are starting to produce fruit. And so I'm hoping that it finishes up before our first frost gets here because we're cutting it pretty close. And I told Danny this year, if we have any kind of anything come out of this garden, I'm going to be happy. This is kind of our trial run year. I've only been a homesteader for like a year. Give me a break. I'm working on it. But next year hopefully we'll be more successful. I've learned a lot from this trial year. For one, never get pregnant and prepare to have a baby during planting season. That was not a good idea. Little Miss here was a month early, but it totally threw our schedule around when it came to planting. So I'll show you what's been going on. For those of you who don't know, those are my lawn mowers, right? I let them out so they can mow the lawn, and they did too good of a job, right? In that they figured out that they could reach over my fence, and I'll show you what they did. Like I said, they were a little too good. They ate the tops off of my corn, so I doubt I'm gonna get any corn this year. And then they also got a couple of my sunflowers, so that was a little disappointing. But lesson learned. Mushu and Dally are not allowed to play a lawnmower without adult supervision down here. So speaking of sunflowers, as you can see, I'm starting to get the little sunflower heads poking up. Hopefully in a little while those will be completely here. I have this one, there's a couple of small ones poking up, and then that large guy right there. So my sunflowers are starting to sprout, and that's amazing. My lettuce is looking as green and frilly as ever. I'm absolutely loving it. The lettuce did really well in the raised bed. I am having trouble with things bolting. My spinach bolted, a couple of my lettuce plants bolted, my bok choy bolted. So I don't know if maybe I should plant them in a shadier location, but I have no idea why they bolted as bad as they did. So I'm going to do a little research into that and see why they bolted. But if nothing else, I am so very pleased with how well they did in these raised beds. So that's really exciting. So my experiment with my tomato plants has been definitely interesting. These are the tomato plants that I started in my office in February. As you can see, they're big, and I have some fruit growing. They're not red yet, as you can see. They'll soon turn red. And then I have these pretty little flowers, so they're doing really good. In contrast, though, these guys are doing even better. This row of tomatoes I planted for funsies, just to see what they would do, a month ago. And as you can see, they already have flowers. So next year, I am not starting tomato plants inside in my office. I am just putting them directly into the ground. I am going to try to get them out earlier next year. I don't think this climate does very well with, pardon me, Thor! Thor, you just sat on my plant! Thor! You are not the center of attention. Anyway, my pepper plants aren't doing all too well. They haven't really grown or done anything. So I think maybe if we get a greenhouse, I'll try it in there. But when it comes to pepper plants, I don't think I'm going to plant any next year because they're very little and they haven't done anything. And they've been in the ground now here for 2 months and in the raised bed for 3. The raised bed ones are even worse, so I'm not even gonna bother showing that to you. Right here I have a squash plant that's starting to grow, and I'm seeing flower buds on the underside, but no fruit yet. So fingers crossed within the next couple of weeks, it's gonna be doing just as well as about what I'm gonna show you next. Y'all, I'm so proud of these little squash plants. Look at them, they're doing so well. All of them are sprouting flowers and fruit, and here in a couple of weeks, hopefully, I can get some into my frying pan. I'm not sure if there's gonna be enough for us to really store this year, but I'm definitely growing these next year because they did amazing. Right here, this is a corn stalk. I don't know how it got here in my garlic rows. So I have a random corn stalk growing in my garlic rows. The garlic's doing really great. It's sprouted up, it's growing really nice, and Dallas, stop playing lawnmower over my fence. Dallas, hey, Dallas. This is why things get eaten. It's not the deer I have to worry about. It's my mare. My crazy mare. But yes, the garlic is doing amazing. As you can see, it's sprouting up, and super excited for that. So yes, everything is going really well in our garden, circumstances considered. So we have some squash coming up, and of course our ever abundant lettuce. So I think next year the plan is I want to get planting a little earlier, which will be easier because I'm not going to be super pregnant and then go into labor early. And then also I want to focus more on squash varieties and work on getting the tomatoes in a little earlier and doing more like cold weather variants to see if maybe we can get something to grow a little bit more here. But I'm not upset with this year. It's definitely a learning experience on trying to figure out what is going to work, and I think we're doing pretty well, all things considered. I do want to next year, I want to get some pumpkins in. Sorry, one of my dogs decided to push the fence again. I do want to try pumpkins. I heard that pumpkin is a really good natural dewormer for different animals such as chickens. So I would really like to try growing pumpkins. I want to grow more squash varieties. The beans aren't doing as well as I expected. We're not going to talk about the strawberries. The strawberries are just a failed attempt at this point. I thought I was growing strawberries and I got really excited, and then I realized it was just a weed native to Colorado. It's okay. I'm not mad. You're mad. No one's mad here. So the strawberries are just a failed point. I tried so hard to grow strawberries. So next year the plan is to try more cold weather variants, get some squash in. I want to get some raspberry bushes, some blueberry bushes, some more cold weather bushes, so that we can do more production when it comes to that kind of thing. I don't know if you ever tried gooseberries before. Those are amazing. They're nice, they're tart, they're great in pies. I love it. But other than that, I mean, if nothing else, I'm having fun with the garden and it makes me super happy. Earlier today, I picked a bunch of weeds out of here and I threw them at the chickens, and the chickens had a wonderful little snack and they loved it. Especially, we have this horrible thistle, right? It's really pokey, and even with gloves, you can feel it through your gloves. They loved the thistle. So maybe when my garden is dying off and not doing so well, I'll throw all of them in here, and yeah, it's been pretty great, other than, you know, being a bit behind. Oh, also, in case y'all didn't know, we got 5 more ducks, and they're in with the rest of our flock. So if y'all are interested in seeing our itty bitty little ducks that are still so tiny and cute, I started a new series of Madison talks way too much about bunnies, but maybe we can do Madison talks way too much about poultry, ducks, chickens, birds. It'll be glorious. But anyway, go ahead, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye.